Hi everyone.
Um, this is gonna be a vulnerable video. I am a little scared to give this message, but it's been something that's on my heart and on my mind, and I will probably, I'm already emotional. Sorry. I'm already emotional, but this is for the young woman in my life, the children in my life that I pray I have the strength to build a better world for and a safer world for. If you see me looking out, I'm looking out my window. It's lightly snowing right now, and just watching nature helps to kind of reground me and refocus me. So if you see me looking off, that's where I'm looking. But my husband asked me to have a conversation with someone close to us because he thought it would come better from me, also because I have the lived experience. It's something that, as someone who greatly respects women and children, as someone who respects women and children and wants to see the end of the objectification and the violence towards women and children, and women and girls, I felt like this message was more than for just this loved one. It was for the collective, but it's hard for me because it's just, I want to find the right way to say it. So that I can also honor my truth. And honor also my own boundaries and how much I just want to share with the world, or how much I feel comfortable sharing with the world. But I guess I'll start off with the energies, because that's what I'm good at, is reading the energies, and it does have to do with the energy of this time and of this season, so I will start there. So the full moon in Leo is next week. We are in Aquarius season. We are also in the Aquarian age, which means that kind of the north node for our universe right now is focused on the themes of Aquarius. And that means that Leo is kind of our south node, somewhere where we're comfortable, somewhere where we've kind of learned and mastered certain lessons in Leo's energy as a world, as a universal collective, and now we are taking the lessons that we've learned and taking the light of Leo, being ruled by the sun, the light that Leo has to offer, the wisdom, the strengths, in many ways, and bring that with us as we journey towards the ideals of Aquarius energy, while also leaving behind the toxic parts that Leo energy can also bring out in us. We are all the signs. I also feel the need to mention that because we all have Leo and Aquarius, and again, all the other signs somewhere in our natal chart. So it's about recognizing where this aspect relates within our life, but on a kind of worldly level. Leo, I guess the message that was coming through and that has to do with this is this kind of influencer, celebrity, trendy energy. So Leo being a light, being an influencer of a certain kind, being the king, right? Being the spotlight, the center of attention. Also kind of the child energy, wanting to be seen, wanting to be validated for your gifts, your talents, and your abilities. For, the areas of which you shine, which of course is not a bad thing, but in the extreme of that, it can become egotistical, can become arrogant in certain ways. And Leo's a fire sign, so it can be, things can get heated, right? There's a flair for drama. Leo in the 5th house does rule drama and playfulness, games, creativity, risk, chance as well. So keeping those things in mind as, again, kind of more so the South Node. And then the North Node, in a sense, right, being in the age of Aquarius, that rules things like the internet, social media, all things technology, new sciences, astrology, quantum physics, those types of things fall into the realm of Aquarius. As well as, again, social media, so also social networks, groups, unions, friends, people who have like minds, who can come together and share their individual light and gift and talent and ability and be appreciated for that as a part of the working collective of the whole, right? That moves towards a common goal or a common goal. But there are many different ways that this energy can play out, right? So as much as the internet gives us community in a sense, especially as we've recently moved through this pandemic, and are still kind of moving through some of that energy, it can bring us closer online. We've created kind of an online world where we can gather, we can meet, we can talk to each other, we can chill out, we can hang out, we can share messages, we can share information and education and entertainment even. And market and trade and all this stuff. Like, this is kind of a world that we've created within itself. But we also have to recognize not to be trapped here, and also what it means to have a platform, and maybe be an influencer of some type, and the world is watching you, and what it means, and what does it mean to have the world watch you, and to see everything that you post, and to potentially judge things that you post, and they can like and they can celebrate it, but some people might not like some of the things that you post. Some people are a little bit sick and a little bit twisted and kind of violent, so there's also those types of things that we have to be aware of. Fraud, things like this, bank fraud, those types of things, like online things. Again, they keep us connected. New technology is good, but there are certain things that can be an issue, right? A lot of these things are going to come up to the surface as Pluto moves through Aquarius beginning in March. And I also feel like there's just going to be a lot that maybe has been hidden on the online world about certain things or about certain people. things that you thought were deleted or again hidden or whatever the case scenario might be, might come back up to the surface to kind of haunt us in some way, or to shed light on a certain situation or a certain toxicity that needs to be removed or transformed into a more healthy instrument or tool that can be used to support humanity and support the continual evolution of humanity, Aquarius energy as well, right? So all of that to say, the message that came through, especially for the full moon in Leo, again, having to do with kind of our identity in a sense, the sun being a symbol of our identity. Most of us know ourselves by our sun sign. So our identity, again, our ego, our character, also the role that we play potentially in a play, but also the role that we play in the world. And again, also this kind of celebrity, this influencer type energy, and how does that translate online? So the message that was coming through is what is necessary to share in this world, and what should we kind of hold sacred for ourselves or for maybe your partner or partners, whatever the case scenario may be, or your family even, depending on what it is. How much is it necessary to share with this online world? And this can kind of be in many ways, but the way that was coming through, especially with the trend of kind of strippers being the new celebrity, and that appeal, and kind of almost being like a symbol for femininity and the feminist movement in a sense, and sexual liberation and sexual freedom. None of those things are bad things, of course not. But again, it's just how much is it necessary to share with the world? Why do we need to prove that we are sexually free for us to be sexually free and liberated, right? Why do we need to expose all of us to the world, to the online world, and not keep certain things sacred to ourselves, or again, sacred to our family or our partner, or whatever the case scenario may be? I don't think it is wrong to enjoy yourself and your sexuality. I just think we need to be conscious and need to be careful of how much of ourselves we give away and what is really the reason behind it. Again, Leo energy is about validation. In a sense, Leo does want to, again, it's the child, right? It is the child who looks for their parents' validation to, how do I say this? In terms of describing the energy. I think you guys kind of understand what I'm saying, but it's the need to feel validated for, again, our gifts, our talents, our abilities, and for who we are. But I guess I'm saying, why do we need the world's validation? And does that really give us the validation that we need without taking so much away from us? Are we not I don't know, it's hard to say, because there's a certain sense of like, you value yourself so much, you love yourself so much that you have no problem sharing yourself with the world. But again, I guess like for this part, I can only speak on my experience. Is I have certain regrets I don't have shame, but I have certain regrets of giving myself to people who didn't deserve it. Especially when I found the one who did. And who truly respected me and showed me that. And respected my body and respected my mind and respected who I am as a person. Respects, I should say. Again, I don't have shame. I'm proud of the ability to explore and be curious about my sexuality and my femininity and my sexual power and feeling grown and sexy, because especially in kind of moving through teenager years, kind of moving up out of middle school into high school, and then especially as you kind of move into your 20s, it's important, especially as a woman, and especially if you're someone who deals with certain insecurities about your beauty or about whatever the case scenario may be. Validation is important. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that it's not. We look for validation, and it is important, but it's also about, can we validate ourselves enough not to give everything away for free? Or again, give certain parts of ourselves away to people who don't deserve it, or people who will only exploit and objectify and harass and worse as women and children. I just pray for the safety of the women and girls in my life, and I pray for the self-validation of all of us, and I also pray that we are able to hold certain things sacred again, because we've lost some of the sacredness in sexuality, I feel like, with it being so open and exposable. And it's not everything, it's just certain things, right? It's the intention, it's the time and the place. There's nothing wrong, I don't feel like, of posting a picture of yourself in a bikini if you're at the beach. That's appropriate for the time and place and setting, right? But I don't know about certain things. So, like, it's just, what is the intention? What is the why behind it? Right? What is the conscious choice that I'm making? What am I saying here? What does this say about who I am? And it's not really like about caring necessarily about what others think, but at the same time, part of you, if you really are honest with yourself, the reason why you're posting it is because you do care about what others think, right? You want the likes, you want the comments, right? So it's just being aware of where the gray is, and again, what is necessary, and what is worthy of sharing, and how do our choices affect our future and affect the future of our children, especially because we know how violent this world is already against women and children. Yeah, I don't know. I just think, as someone who, again, has kind of had to deal with this for myself, because I am someone who, like, I have posted certain pictures of myself on my Instagram feed that maybe are a little suggestive in my past, in my, again, high school years, or maybe a lot, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit suggestive in comparison to this new generation. But, you know, a little silk black robe moment, I've been there. If I had the wisdom I do now and the respect of a relationship, and in a relationship that I do now, would I choose to share that with the entire world? Probably not. I'll save that for my husband, you know what I mean? I'll save that for my partner, because he actually deserves to see it, and he's actually the person that I want to share that with for the rest of my life. So I know not everyone is in a relationship, and again, we do put ourselves out there. It is a way of putting yourself out there to receive some sort of validation, again, if we're truly honest with ourselves. Because I feel like if you were able to really be confident enough in yourself, you wouldn't feel the need to post it. You could take the picture and enjoy it for yourself, right? It's not about taking the pictures. It's not about, again, exploring and being curious about your sexuality and your sensuality and your femininity and your sexual power as a woman. Those things are important to explore. It's just, again, what is necessary to share with the world? Who deserves that part of you? Who deserves that much of your magic, if we're being real? I guess is really what I'm trying to say. Don't be ashamed of your body. Don't be ashamed of your sexuality. Just know who is meant to receive that much of you. Be conscious about your choices in posting certain things, or in sharing certain things with the world, certain parts of you with the world. There's nothing wrong with a little mystery. That's one of the most beautiful parts of femininity, I feel like, that we are lacking now, is the mystery of us. We have so much to offer, and I feel like that is truly the power as well. And that this kind of goes back to Leo's energy. But the lion doesn't need to roar, doesn't need to cause a scene, doesn't need to expose itself in a loud, in a look at me way for you to be like, oh shit, that's a lion, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, let me mind myself. You know, the lion commands respect just by being. You can command respect just by being. You don't need to make a show for the world. Yeah, I think that is everything that I want to say for this. Hopefully it made sense. Hopefully it resonates with you. It might be a little bit controversial, because again, the trends are the trends. And we do want to fit in. Again, validation is important. We do want to fit in, even within because Aquarius is very unique. They're kind of different. They're kind of quirky. But there's, again, the polarity of Aquarius is Leo. And it's about recognizing your individual light, but knowing where you fit in. So we do want to fit in, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, what are we choosing to align ourselves with? Is it truly in the progress of our goals, our visions, our values, our morals, the story of humanity, of our future? And is it supporting or causing more harm when it comes to the true equality and respect and the end of violence and, yeah, the end of violence against women. If we are being honest with ourselves, I feel like this is a message of really reclaiming our power, and our power lies in our mystery. I think that's really the message that I want to share again with the young women and girls in my life, and also the grown women. But most of the grown women in my life know this, I feel like. So this is really and truly for the young women in my life. Know that I see you and I validate you and I love you and you're beautiful and you're sexy and you're all the things. And you're grown and you can do whatever you want, so take this or leave this, really and truly. But reclaim your power, reclaim your mystery, reclaim your magic, remember your roots, remember your traditions. I feel like, sorry, before I end, some of this does kind of have to do with certain religions and indoctrinations, and I guess I can speak for myself again. Part of it was in an attempt to rebel against the limitations I felt, and the demonization of women in religion. If we're being really, really honest, so some of it was in rebellion to just be who we are and not feel like we should be ashamed of who we are. So I understand that, but recognize that some of the, I guess, values and traditions do mirror in some of our more traditional and ancestral beliefs and practices. So, yeah, I know for me, getting back to more traditional and ancestral spirituality and systems has reinstilled certain values that I am learning to reintegrate into my life, so that, again, I can just hold certain things more sacred, hold certain things for the value that they actually are. Our sexuality is so powerful. Again, our mystery is so powerful, is so valuable, that we shouldn't just give it away to everyone, I feel like. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I love you. Thank you for getting to the end of this kind of a bit of a rant, if you have. And I will see you in my next one. Happy healing. Bye.